Honestly, can we just
So-
read the Bible?
So we read Judith.
Yeah, let's do that. Right, this is math class.
Maybe we have some free time. So listen. Needs to take it, so I'm not going to give them back today. However, good morning. The grades are on Jupiter. If you want to take a brief look at your test, once we're done, I'll let you look at it, but I'm not going to give them back yet.
Yeah, I have to go to the bathroom. Why do you go? I have to go to the bathroom. Like, ever since I was halfway, I didn't want to pull over to a brush.
When today would work? Today would be ideal. But we can talk about it later. So anyway, what? Hurry up. I never heard you, and you're not in dress code. All right. So anyway, the test was okay. Well, would you please be quiet? Thank you. The test was okay. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. The average I think was a C minus. So not terrible, but not great either. We seem to have a couple of groups in the class. You know, we've talked about this sort of distribution. What seems to be happening is the guys who are here are staying here, and the guys who are here are staying there. What's changing is that this group in the middle seems to be slowly drifting this way. So if you're in that group where your grades are not as good as they have been, let's work pretty aggressively between now and the midterm to address that. Obviously, there isn't a whole lot of time this week, but tomorrow afternoon, you're welcome to come and see me. No, stop. But please, you need to be asking questions if there are things that you're confused about. So tomorrow I'll also check the homework 44. Tomorrow. Questions, comments, concerns about any of that? Okay. The test will be after 48, so probably, well, I don't know.
Can it be like one week?
Let me take a look at the calendar. Let me take a look at the calendar.
When Jair came to Jezebel heard of it.
Stop.
No, she took a fat L, bro. She got thrown out of the window and then trampled by all the horses in the stable.
Yes. And then they weren't able to bury her body because there wasn't anything left.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to take it online or something.
If we can dress code.
Oh, my shirt.
Yeah.
Shut up, bro. You're soft.
All right. Lesson 45. Open your textbooks to page 181. 181. A slightly different topic today. Actually, wait. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
We're actually going to skip 45. But I do want to briefly introduce the topics here. Sorry. Please stop talking. Please stop talking. Were you talking? Were you talking? You're still talking now. Thank you. All right. Quickly with 45. My apologies. We're actually going to do 46. We should be able to have a test Thursday. And then Friday, we won't have to have a test on Friday. Yes.
I need to take the test online.
What?
I need to take the test online.
Why?
I'm not going to here.
Well, maybe I'll have to take it when you get back or something. Or online or something. All right, anyway. 45 really briefly, and then we'll do 46. Now, of course, that's assuming that we actually meet all the days that we're supposed to this week, which there are possibilities that due to some weather conditions that we won't. So quickly, 45. These four terms is good to be familiar with.
Oh, I did this.
Yeah, so some basic statistical terms help us get more information about groups of numbers. When we have a set of numbers, a group of numbers, well, actually not a set, technically. When we have a group of numbers, like test scores or incomes, or what would be another thing that we might run these numbers with? Snow days in any given year.
Money.
Yeah, money is a common thing. There are lots of different statistics that we can run that will give us some more information about the group of numbers. So, when we talk about range, what's the range?
Range
Like the first number to the last number. Like the lowest number to the highest.
What do you mean two?
The
lowest-
difference between them.
Yes, it's the difference between
big number
the
and the small number.
highest and smallest.
Lowest, highest.
Don't do that. You can math.
Between the largest and smallest.
Bad boy.
Wow, why are you so bad?
So there's a small range, then it means that all of your values are clustered in the same area. If there's a large range, it means that there's more spread out. Right? The difference between, for example, having the test grades look like this, and having the test grades look like that.
Uh-oh. Oh, I see.
Right? So these two could have the same average. You got to have a C average. It could be the case that everybody gets a C, or it could be the case that a third of people get an A, a third of people get a C, and a third of people get Fs. The average is the same for either one of those, but the range is different. Yes?
Wait, which one do you want? The one that's like goes up like that?
With these two, this really tells more about the group of students than it does about how the class is performing. So like this would mean that the students in the class are all performing at roughly the same academic level. This one, where it's spread out, would mean that they're performing at different levels. That's all. In terms of the mean, what's the mean?
The mean is the average.
The average, how do we find the average?
Add up all the numbers and divided by how many numbers are there.
Right, add all the values, then divide by the number of values that you have. That's how we find our average. The average is, where's the midpoint here? For example, this says on average what your score is. What about median? What about median? And how is this different from mean?
The number in the middle.
Middle number in terms of what?
Like,
In terms of the whole
largest,
line.
smallest to largest.
Right, so we put all the values in order, and this is the one in the middle. This is the middle value.
And if there is no middle, you have to like add to and divide.
Yeah, so if you've got an even number of terms, you've got 10 terms, for example, there isn't going to be one in the middle. And so what you do is you take the average of the two middle terms. Now, how is the median different from the mean? The mean gives you the average, but the average might not give you super accurate information. So, for example, like the example that I was using, let's use the word example too many times. It's Monday morning, guys. Say that we have a curve that looks like this, a sort of normal distribution. The average is a C, and what's the median? The median is also a C. About half people, the median tells you the number that half of your scores are below and half are above. So when you have something like this, the median and the mean are going to be pretty really well, and then you've got this big group of guys who aren't doing so well. There, the median is going to give you some interesting information. So your median, the average might be like here, but the median could be somewhere lower. And then the mode, what's the mode?
It's the numbers that are the most.
Yeah, the most common value.
Like it's just double.
It's not always doubles.
It could be more than doubles.
Sometimes
It could be all the numbers.
It could be lots and lots. So for example, let's just to pull up some real numbers. Let's look at last year, this algebra class last year. I'm going to pull up a random test from that class, and we'll run some, and I'll tell you. Yeah, so usually with mode, mode isn't going to be very useful if you're doing percents because they're going to be scattered all over the place. Mode's more useful actually when you're talking about ranges. So like A's, B's, C's, D's, etc. Why is Jupyter Grades not working right now?
I know, it was like struggling.
It's because it's raining. What is? Yeah?
Super funky.
Is this the part where the Trade Federation has blocked our communications because they're about to invade?
We're currently being blockaded. We're waiting for the 18th state order.
Here, this will give some This will give some interesting information. So here, this is just from one marking period from one of my classes last year. I won't tell you which one. But so we had, just sort of listen. We had 1 A plus, 2 B pluses, 2 Bs, 2 C pluses, 3 C minuses, 2 Ds, 1 D minus, and 3 Fs.
How is this possible?
So, now, what that looks like in terms of one of these curves is it looks kind of like this. It looks like this.
Is that good? Oh, no.
I mean, it just is what it is. So now, range, median, mode. The range was something like, let's see what the range was exactly. The range was 47. Range of 47. There was a 47% difference between the top grade and the lowest grade. That's a pretty large range. If you're talking out of 100, that's pretty large. That means that there were either some very high grades or some very low grades or both. C minus, which is like here. The median, let's see what the median was. There were 17 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The median was also a C minus. And so what? But the mode was actually, there were 2 modes. C minus was a mode,
And then
and F was a mode. I had 3 students get a C minus, and 3 students get an F. Like 3 get a C minus, 3 get an F. If we wanted to scale out a bit in terms of like total letter grades, C would be the mode, because between C's, C plus, and C minuses, there were actually 5 students who got C's. There were only 3 who got C's. All right, so C, the C range here, notice that's where most of my students are. All right.
That would have been Mr. Decker.
That class is terrible.
Okay, lesson 46. Turn to page 185, conjunctions. What's up?
Why are you doing 2 lessons today?
Because 45, we're not going to do a lesson set for. 45, it's a separate topic from all the rest of this. It's really the only statistical stuff that we do this year. We don't want to spend a lot of time on it. All right, lesson 46, conjunctions. Conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Nothing.
So, we've had inequalities before. What's an inequality?
Inequality is like less than, greater than, less than, or equal to.
Right. These things other than equal signs. So it could be not equal, it could be less than, it could be not less than, it could be greater than, it could be not greater than, it could be less than or equal to, it could be not less than or equal to, it could be greater than or equal to, it could be not greater than or equal to. Yes?
What lesson says the test upon?
The next test will go up to 44. Now, what we can do is we can combine these. So if, for example, we've got these two, x is greater than 5 and x is less than 10. What would x is greater than 5 look like on a number line?
It was like,
Open.
and then it'd be pointing.
An open circle where?
Right. It'd be on
The open circle has to be on a point. Where?
it'll be on the 5.
Yeah, an open circle on the 5 and then an arrow pointing to the right. A solid line with an arrow pointing to the right. because 5 does not satisfy this. 5 is not greater than 5, but anything greater than 5 will satisfy this.
5.1.
5.1 satisfies it.
5.1.
What about x is less than 10? What will that look like on a number line?
On the 10.
What on the 10?
Open circle on the 10.
Open circle on the 10.
Going to the left.
And then a solid line with an arrow pointing to the left, because anything less than 10 but not equal to 10 will satisfy this inequality.
Yep.
Now, what if we want to know the values that satisfy both of these? They satisfy both x is greater than 5 and x is less than 10. We could write that a couple different ways. We could write x is greater than 5 and x is less than 10. We could write that. Or there's an even better way that we can write it. We can write it like this.
10 is less than x is less than.
Now you have to be careful with these to put things in the right direction. Because notice the way that I wrote this is I say x. X is greater than 5, x is less than 10. Yes? Because the open side points to the bigger thing, the bigger side points to the bigger thing. It's like an alligator wants to eat the larger, more delicious number.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Oh.
So here, notice even though this sign was pointing this way before, when we write it like this, you don't have to look up here to see how I wrote it. When we write it like this, because we flipped around the order of the x and the 5, we have to flip around the order there also. So this means 5 is less than x, and x is less than 10. Remember, 5 is less than x is the same thing as saying x is greater than 5. And we can flip those around as long as we flip the direction of our inequality sign. Yes? This is the same as this. They're equivalent to each other. Now, what would this look like? Don't make me take your phone. What else would you be looking at over there? What would this look like on a number line?
I know this one. An open circle on 5, facing toward 10, but not all the way at 10. No. Somewhere in between 10.
No. Open circle on 5.
Open circle on 5, because
9 to 10, and then open circle on 10.
right. So here, pay attention.
Somewhere in 10.
Pay attention. Notice anything between 5 and 10 will satisfy this. That's why we have the solid line between 5 and 10. But does 5 satisfy this?
No.
No, because 5 is not less than 5. Does 10 satisfy this?
Yeah. No.
No, because 10 is not less than 10. But anything between those two will satisfy it.
Like 5.1.
Yes, 5.1 is greater than 5 and less than 10.
Like
Yeah.
9.9999.
Yeah.
Yes, that's greater than 5 and less than 10. Literally, there are infinite number of solutions. That's why it's a solid line. Because literally any point along there will satisfy this inequality. All right, let's do another one. What if we want the conjunction of -2
That one.
is less than x is less than or equal to 4? How can we write this as two separate inequalities? Instead of one conjunction of inequalities, how can we write this as two separate inequalities? What does this mean? What and what?
It means x is greater than -2.
X is greater than -2 and
X is less than 4.
Less than or equal to.
is less than or equal to 4. Right. Now let's graph it.
I know this one.
It'll be an open circle on -2.
Going up to 4, and then it's a closed circle on 4.
Going to the right.
Yeah.
Close circle on 4. Going to the left. Close circle. So between those numbers will be good for x.
Right. Anything between -2 and 4 is and 4 satisfies it. Negative 2 does not satisfy this because negative 2 is not greater than negative 2, but 4 does satisfy because 4 is less than or equal to 4.
Wait, technically, could I put an open circle on 4.1 and it still be right?
No,
Why?
because if you here's why. Here's why. So let's zoom out.
Have a body, bro.
In a second.
Too late.
All right, so here we've zoomed in. Shh. Please listen. Here we've zoomed in. The question is, can I just put an open circle on 4.1? No, you cannot. Because if you put the open circle on 4.1, then you're including here all of these values that are greater than 4 and less than 4.1, like 4.01. 4.01 does not satisfy this equation, but if you put the open dot on 4.1, then you're including that value in your graph, and so your graph is wrong. That's why the open dot was invented. Listen, because there are an infinite number, the way that numbers work, we can always go another decimal place further. There are an infinite number of values between 4 and 4.1. Between any two values on the number line, there are an infinite number of values.
What did she say?
So, this is why the circle was invented, the open circle, which tells us the only thing we're not including is this exact point. Because otherwise, there's no way for us to make that distinction graphically.
Why?
Can I go to the bathroom?
Because there are an infinite number of values between any 2 points on the number line. Yes.
Really?
Yes, really. That's how numbers work. You can always go another decimal point further.
Whoa. So I can put like 4.
No, you can't.
You do what?
Triple threat.
I can't hear you.
I can put 4.0000009.
That's in between 4 and 4.1, yes. There are an infinite number of values there.
Wow. I put 4.6.
Remember, a line is a one-dimensional thing. It's made up of an infinite number of points. Because points have no width.
I don't know why I would get hurt in games.
All right, now let's go the other direction. What if we've got, let's go from a graph to writing a conjunction. What if our graph looks like this?
Yes. I hurt my back.
Oh, I thought somebody like
I get cramps so bad. I had a triangle like in the middle of the game.
Wait, your back is cramping up.
No, not my back. I fell on my back.
What if we've got this graph? How would we write this as a conjunction?
It'll be x is less than
Whoa,
Negative
it's
3.
not hard to do that.
x. No. Yeah, x is greater than negative 3,
Less than 3.
but less than 3.
Let's write it as two separate things. So x is greater than negative 3 and what?
Less than 3.
Not quite.
Less than 2 doesn't say
X is less than 3.
less
Oh,
than.
less than 2.
Nope.
Equal to. Less than or equal to.
Yeah, less than
Oh,
or
yeah.
equal to 2, because notice 2
Close.
is a solution here.
Why
So,
did you not write this one?
now how would we write this as a single conjunction?
X in the middle.
X in the middle,
Negative 3.
Negative 3 on the left is less than, and then x is greater than, no, yeah, I don't know, wait.
And then greater than 2.
remember x is anything where the line is.
Oh, x is less than or equal to 2.
Right. These points here are all the points that are greater than negative 3, and they're less than or equal to 2. Questions, comments, concerns?
Oh.
Let's do one more. Let's do one more.
I'm weird. I bet you were the Lopez in the rain.
Bro, I guess to write it, bro. We made that deal.
Yeah.
We did too. You said bad.
You said you
Guys, Frank didn't come with
Honestly, we should just.
Frank came up with that. I was the one that came up with it.
Who?
We can ask him.
Who?
Alright, if Frank says that I'm the one who made that Bet up.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can bet.
All right, this last one. Let's do this. Tell me what this graph represents. What conjunction of inequalities does this graph represent?
X is greater than or equal to -1 and also less than or equal to 5.
How would we write it? -1 is what?
Less than or equal to X
Right, less than or equal to x.
is
And
greater
5.
No, less than or equal.
Okay, look, here's the. No. But how do we write it continuing here? -1 is less than or equal to
Less
x.
than or equal to X.
What?
I put 5 right there. That's 6 right there. That's 5.
I mean
Yeah.
6, my bad.
Notice when we're writing these conjunctions of inequalities, generally all of our things are going to be pointing in they are. They're all going to be pointing in the same direction.
They got mixed up because they rhyme.
What?
What? Yeah.
1 and 6.
Just
Wow, you're so
Listen!
funny.
Pay attention to these. Don't mix up the direction. Guys mix up the direction all the time.
Yes, sir.
So look at the graph and ask yourself, all right, the dark line represents where x is. X, what's the connection between x and this -1? I know I've got x, I've got -1, and I've got 6. Is x being greater than -1 a possibility? Yes. Is x being equal to -1 a possibility? Yes. Is x being less than 6 a possibility? Yes. Is x being equal to 6 a possibility? Yes. If you ask yourself in a more concrete way about this, instead of just guessing about what signs go there, other questions, comments, concerns about the. All right, let me give the homework sheets out. 44 will be due tomorrow.
45.
45 will make, I guess, do
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Well, we can turn it on today.
No, sorry, 40. This will be 46. 46.
We do on Wednesday, but we can also turn it tomorrow.
No, I want to see it on Wednesday. And 46 will be the following.
Oh.
Alright, I'll turn
Oh,
it-
you get to skip 4 this time. You get to skip 4 of them this time. Except 2, 3, 7, 28. 2, 3, 7, 28. All right.
Give 1 through 10.
Yeah, 1 through 10 and like 15 through 30.